Mara worked at a quiet botanical library where the windows faced a river that had once been clear enough to see stonefish at the bottom. In recent years, the water had turned dull, and each spring the bank filled with plastic bottles, broken crates, and the restless smell of oil. Mara had become known among her neighbors as careful, patient, and difficult to discourage, which was another way of saying that she kept showing up after everyone else had gone home. She began with small acts that looked almost invisible. She labeled bins in the apartment block, placed repair kits beside the mailboxes, and left hand-drawn maps showing where trash tended to gather after storms. At first, only one child copied her, then two shopkeepers, then the bus driver, who started carrying a reusable bag for fruit instead of asking for paper. The changes were minor, but they multiplied in the way moss spreads across stone. The city council announced a river cleanup campaign with polished posters and a photo opportunity near the bridge. Mara attended, expecting a speech and a few hours of public labor. Instead, she noticed the cleanup trucks were scheduled to remove only the visible waste from the riverwalk, while an industrial outflow pipe remained hidden behind temporary fencing. The supervisors called it a maintenance issue. Mara called it the source. That evening, she followed the pipe path with a flashlight and found it pumping gray water into a drainage channel. The fence had been tied shut with fresh wire, as if someone had wanted the problem seen from a distance, but not examined too closely. When she returned with photos and a notebook of dates, the council tried to dismiss her as alarmist. Then the botanical library director, usually quiet to the point of invisibility, spoke up and identified the water damage pattern in the river reeds as proof of ongoing contamination. The story changed when the evidence reached the public. Students mapped the discharge points. Cafes stopped buying from the company responsible. Local fishers brought samples of dead stock to the steps of City Hall. What had begun as a cleanup became a demand for accountability. The council could no longer celebrate the river while ignoring what poisoned it. Months later, the river was not healed, but it was being watched. The hidden pipe had been sealed. New wetland filters were installed along the banks. A recycling center opened in an abandoned warehouse. Mara still picked up litter on her morning walks, but now she was joined by people who no longer treated care as a private habit. On the first clean autumn day, the water reflected the sky with a clarity that surprised the crowd gathered on the bridge. The river had not been saved by one dramatic moment.